If you have any kind of questions or anything like that, please put them in chat, or if I'm going too fast, stop me, because I tend to. So I've done this spiel a bunch of times. So I want it to be interactive, and I don't want it to be too terribly boring. But the HESS Consortium is a passion of mine and has been for years now. We started the concept in, I guess it was 2012, and started the organization in 2014. And since then, I've basically been I see we've got some people that are in the waiting room. Since then, I've been the executive director, and most of the time has been being a volunteer. I started out as a CIO. I was a CIO for private institutions for probably 26-ish or longer years. And in private schools, I was at Hanover College. I was in Indiana. I was CIO at St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana. Hey, Ben, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see, who else? I was at UVA, vice chancellor in the UVA system, and CIO there in that system with one of their only satellite school. And then the last institution I was with was I was CIO in Danville, here where I live in Kentucky, in Center College, CENTRE College. So Ben, don't feel like you have to keep your camera on. Just blend in. And if you've got any questions, please let us know. Let me know. Can everybody see my screen okay? Everybody see the screen? If you want to you can raise your hand, or somebody just come off mute and just say, hey, I can see it. Everybody?
Yep, looks good.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. So the HESS Consortium, like I said, started in 2014 as a nonprofit organization, pretty much member owned and run. I was a CIO at Center College when we started the organization, and I got several of my CIO friends together and said, hey, there doesn't seem to be any kind of continuity or connections between private nonprofit colleges, CIOs, and maybe even CFOs, but other technology professionals that work in private schools. And it was a problem. We could kind of coordinate a little bit through EDUCAUSE and through a few other organizations that some of us were a part of, such as state associations and also CLAC. But there wasn't a congruent group of CIOs that nationally could get together and basically share information between our institutions. But in general, we thought we were just going to be about 5, 6, maybe 10 schools in general. And we thought we were just going to try and collaborate together, primarily on ERP and enterprise systems and cloud systems as they were beginning to develop in 2014. Well, here we are 8 years later, I guess, over 8 years later, and we have 289 schools as of this morning. We get a new school just about every week, if not 2 or 3 of private colleges. And we're primarily, and I'll tell you a little about this, we're primarily a community of practice for CIOs, CTOs, and other technology professionals and instructional technologists now in private nonprofit higher ed. And that is in our charter. That will never change. Now, granted, we do have a number of schools that are 600 FTE and a number of schools that are 16,000 FTE students. But our sweet spot is really in the mid-market, really the schools that are 1,200, 1,500 FTE, all the way up to maybe 5,000. And that's really the sweet spot. But we serve all of the membership, not just the sweet spot, not just the smallest, not just the largest. And we've got a growing group of affiliated state partners. We were kind of founded by the state associations. When we started, several good friends in state associations in Georgia and Virginia and Pennsylvania and Kentucky and Indiana, especially. Those state associations are really kind of helped us start and get the word out to institutions. We've got over 40 ERP, LMS, IT corporate partners, and many more coming in 2023. And then we've got about 388 CIOs and other technology professionals in what we call the HESS OLC, or the online learning community, which is kind of Facebook on steroids. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We're really excited, and one of the reasons why you're all here is this new partnership with the coalition. Technically, I wear two hats. Technically, I am the executive director for HESS, but I'm also the vice president for the technology practice, contracts practice for the coalition. The coalition it basically said, hey, if you'll come to work with us on developing contracts and engaging our members, we'll loan you 100% out to HESS to do that jointly. So we're co-branding and cross-promoting our contracts among all those members. And, the collective group has a lot of buying power, and now has even more in the technology area now that we're coupled together. But it's free to be a member, HESS member. So basically you can go out there right now and at HESSconsortium.org and click the Join Now button. And the fees have been waived for the 2022-23 year. The fees have always been $499 a year to be a member of HESS, but we've waived our fees for the last 3 years. Yeah, last 3 years. And to be honest, I'm not positive that we'll be re-engaging those. We may waive those fees again next year, but nevertheless, that is generally, they'll never be over $499, but they'll most likely be either waived or much less in future years. So we have a lot of great state association partners, which I believe your state associations are a part of, and we're hoping to get even more as time goes along. We are proud to say that our state associations are one of the reasons why really the HESS Consortium exists today, and those folks are a big part of our membership. We have great board of directors. As you can tell, we've got a lot of wonderful schools that are, and range of schools that are a part of the board of directors, made up of the board of directors, DePaul, you see Barry, you see Spalding, you see St. John's, which is one of our largest, Mercer, you see Asbury, which is just up the road here, Haverford, Lynn, a lot of great schools, a lot of wonderful schools that are a part of HESS, and many, many more. You can see our membership list very soon, or online now. So what do we do? That's the big question. Why should you, as a CIO or CTO or state association director, why should you be a part of HESS? Well, first and foremost, I said we're a community of practice. So basically, our members get together. Mostly CIOs, but also a number of CFOs are a part of this, and a large number of technology professionals for specifically private nonprofit colleges and universities. And I know, I've said that out in public before, and the public institutions don't get it, but the private institutions do. The private institutions, they like to talk with other CIOs, other leaders in technology in those other schools, and they like to kind of birds of a feather type situations, and compare notes. And so we have webinars that have discussions that are involved in them. We have programs, special programs, which I'm going to tell you about, and then we of course have a national conference, which we just wrapped up in November. So The large collective voice. So that's been a big issue. Smaller institutions have historically not been able to wield any real leveraging power or buying power with a lot of these commercial companies that we deal with. And as you'll see, we've got some major companies that are engaged with us now and will be engaging in 2023 anew. But the consortium gives you and your school a larger collective voice with our corporate partners. And I'll go through who our corporate partners are here in a second. We're solidifying and deepening those relationships with institutions and their corporate partners. We have executive connections with all of the major ERP organizations, from all the way from Oracle and Workday to Lucian and Gensbar. So when you come to our conference, in-person conference, you will see those executives, and you'll be able to actually, within our cohorts, we have vendor-specific cohorts that go in and talk with their executives and air their happiness or their displeasure. And it's a really interesting group. But actually, our vendors, our business partners, really do see a lot of great interaction. And in addition to that, a lot of great input. They've started programs based on some of the input from our institutions. Collaboration with cohort groups. Like I said, we have member cohort groups that are focused on each individual ERP solution. So we have a group of colleague members. We have a group of Banner members. We have a group of Gensbar EX Gensbar 1 members. Workday, Anthology, and now Oracle is a growing, Oracle Cloud is a growing group. And then we'll talk a little bit about the special programs that we've got going on. We are also talking about that we're talking and planning for the future for shared services. And those shared services could be and might be anything from sharing a DBA to a report writer to a specialized programmer to someone in training, and sharing it within the network training between our institutions. So that will, anything that can lower our long-term cost and viability with our institutions, that's kind of what we want to do. We're working on that now. Like I said, we have member cohorts. We have the online leadership community. I've got some screenshots here of the online leadership communities that we have. They range from, Banner and Colleague and all those. This is we're using a software that's in my opinion, it's kind of like Facebook on steroids. It's called HumHub. And we've got people who post questions out there and get answers. They can exchange files, they can put up polls, and you're kind of the master of that domain. So basically, you, as a member, you can go in there and ask questions, or post a poll, or put something on the wiki that is specifically focused on a specific platform. We have some other focused things in instructional technology. We have some other things in InfoSec and those types of things. So. Like I said, we have 40 business partners, which we're going to talk about here in a second, and member email listservs, and we have monthly live and on-demand HESS webinars with business partners, which you'll see here in a second, in the national conference. So our major enterprise system partners are these major providers. We do have some others specifically out there, but these are our primaries. And so if you have a major ERP solution on your campus, we probably work with that company and work with that with that cohort, and that cohort leadership works directly with that company and those solutions within that company. So we've still got some Gensbar, a number of Gensbar CX users, the old CARS product, and Anthology, of course, was the was campus management at one point and just changed their name. Mythix is a Oracle reseller, as is DriveStream, an implementation provider. You can tell just from some of these that we have some pretty major partners. Once you start in as a member of HESS, you're automatically dropped into a CDWG aggregate purchase program, which actually is about to be renegotiated for some better pricing. But there's an email message that goes out to them that you sign up, you get signed up, and they add the contract onto your portal, and you can order off of the pricing list that our aggregate group gets. I think HESS did somewhere this year, probably did somewhere in the neighborhood of $16 to $17 million worth of hardware and peripherals through the CDWG contract. But as you can tell, we've got new partners coming on. We've got Granite, which is an amazing partner through the coalition that actually will renegotiate your existing broadband lines, telephones, other services. I just heard from one of our members that they cut their monthly cost in half for their circuit cost, which was amazing. Granite does a very large quantity and bulk purchasing, so they get better pricing than individual institutions. We can talk to you about that. Ring Central is becoming a new in-kind provider and contract in the new year. Paymerang, of course, Moran Consulting, and more to come. So D2L is a great partner also, and they offer some amazing discounts. A lot of people look at consortiums and they go, well, they're just about buying. This consortium is not. It's really focused on saving money, but it's also focused on getting around a platform or a project or a program and finding ways to cooperate. And we don't have a contract process, but we do have a discount offer through HESS for Aleutian customers. And if you'll note this, and this information is going to be on our new website that's coming out in about a week, and the HESS Success program from Aleutian that will lower your costs in some of your costs in moving to the cloud for Banner and Colleague SaaS. So that's been somewhat successful, and we've got a wonderful champion there with Tracy Williams at Aleutian, but we have great champions in Ann and Troy and Eric and Ezra from our cohort leads for both Banner and Colleague. So we'd love to see you get involved in those cohorts. And Aleutian, of course, is one of our largest cohorts. So many of you guys have seen the big splash that has happened with the HESS Consortium. Like I said, I have to preface, we work with all members of any ERP that you may use, most any ERP. But the HESS Collective program has got a lot of press because this program was vetted and created by 33 HESS institutions. And basically what the program is it's a program that has brought together now 87 registered members, and together what we did with the initial 33 is we did a pretty extensive RFI and pricing program, and it was only for cloud native products. So and we let the major OEMs, we let them self-select, which was kind of interesting. Some of them on the outset said, we're not a cloud native product. So that was good. The cloud native products that we looked at were Unit 4, which has now since kind of blown apart to some degree. So they kind of shifted out pretty quickly. The others were Workday and, of course, Oracle Cloud. And over the course of 18 months and 7 months of about 8 months of deliberation, we decided that Oracle Cloud for Higher Education, with their partners, DriveStream and Mythics, which is a reseller for Oracle software, was clearly the pick and from the group. There's no buying commitment to be a part of the collective program, the Oracle collective program or HESS collective program. Institutions just wanting to work together and move into that direction. What were we able to do? Well, collectively, we were able to, let me go to the better slide. We were able to negotiate a incredible best in class pricing with Oracle Cloud through Mythics, through an E&I contract, and no better contract in the nation in terms of pricing. And it's actually affordable now for small and mid-sized institutions, and large institutions for that matter, because it's flat-based pricing and completely transparent. I take our members through the pricing process for both implementation and for the software licensing, and it is really amazing. Better pricing for through the Coalition for College Cost Savings. Better pricing. There's no better pricing in the nation for implementation, and actually adding a 3-year support contract into that. So the Coalition has we've created a contract with DriveStream that brings you an amazing a la carte pricing on what you want to implement in the software. And in addition to that, a 3-year support contract total. So once you're done with ERP, once you're done with SIS, once you're done with maybe student financial planning, you get the remainder of that 3 years. So there's no surprise. I forgot this, so they're going to nickel and dime you for additional services afterwards. No, DriveStream is there to make sure that the implementation is good, it's solid, and you're ready to go. No better contract pricing. I was able, most of you guys know that I worked for E&I before I came to the Coalition. And I was able to negotiate an amazing contract with Mythics. First 5 years, 0 annual rise. The second 5 years is a 0.4% annual rise, which really amounts to over a 2% rise over the course of the next 5 years. And then a cap on 5 in years 11 through 15, although that's going to be renegotiated based on the number of schools that are in the program. And right now we have, just in the first year, we have 7 schools that are implementing now and signed. We have 15 schools that are looking to sign in 2023 and 24 schools in 2024, so that we know of. And so that renegotiation price for the annual rise will probably be renegotiated out. No other vendor would even touch 15-year price guarantees. It was Oracle, Mythics, and DriveStream that were able to do that. And we have a lot of confidence in those guys, and especially in DriveStream. Our DriveStream contract through the Coalition has been so incredibly successful, and the promise in it, the DriveStream folks are just absolutely amazing, bent over backwards to help our schools. No better plan. I showed you a little bit about our online community, but the HESS Assist program is basically going to help our institutions to share resources, share expertise, share training, other things around a common platform. So that's really exciting. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that because I think I skipped that slide. But what we're planning to do, what are we planning to share? Well, we're planning to share reports, workflows, integrations, any types of automations, anything that can be shared in a portable fashion we're going to share on the Assist site, which is like I said, kind of like Facebook on steroids, although it's much more than that. The collective is now building a 3-year. So what do you do after the 3 years of support is up on your implementation? Well, all of the institutions that are implementing now, and those that have joined the program that had gone before, like Ithaca and Spring Arbor and others, we're going to be pooling support hours. So basically, we're going to be buying on behalf of the group. We're going to be buying a large block of support hours. I didn't realize that that can actually reduce the support hour cost by up to 30% per hour. And the institutions will have packages where they can buy support hours per month or per term or per year. And that will be what is added after the initial 3 years. And then, of course, we have a number of key business partners coming to the hoop pretty hard to get on board as ancillary software third parties. We're talking with a number of those right now. I will say, and I did update this slide because 2022 is almost over, but in 2023, institutions that are signing up for the collective program will get a 3% rebate on behalf of your state associations and the coalition on your contract for implementation through DriveStream. So it's pretty significant. That can add up. Here are institutions that are implementing now. This slide is going to get a little unruly next year, but we do have some wonderful schools that have jumped in and said, we want to take advantage of this pricing, like ASAP. In fact, St. Mary's, who started their project last year, is about this time, is actually going live with HCM in January. So really excited for that. I can tell you a lot more about the project and what we're doing in terms of the collective, if you'd like to know more. But so I'm going to open up. I took about 30 minutes, guys, and I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, let's go to chat and find out more questions about the HESS Consortium. If you've got questions about that or anything else, so please feel free to come off mute or type in your question in chat. And I'm kind of looking there. We'd love to have you join the HESS Consortium and be part of the community, a voice in the community as a technology leader. Anyone? Don't go dark on me. Who has heard of the HESS Consortium? Raise your virtual hand. Anyone? Let's see a few. That's good. Oh, thank you, Kim. Gosh, I love you. How does this affect a college that already has a contract with one of these vendors? Well, it doesn't stop the contract, of course, because the contract has a term. Once the contract is up, though, the institution can actually take advantage of the special pricing. So the HESS doesn't get in between the members and a existing contract, because that would be legally difficult. But it does allow those institutions to take advantage of the offers that are not under contract, which may be many. So thank you for that, Kim. I hope I answered that question.
I do have a question also, if I
Excellent.
may.
Hi.
So I'm kind of curious about, I guess, really the goal of choosing just a native cloud provider for software, and why you chose that as a particular goal. Because just because a system is native cloud doesn't mean it necessarily has all the functionality you need or better functionality. And so I was just kind of curious as to, it sounds like you made that like an overarching goal over everything else, as far as kind of where you're leading to some degree institutions from an ERP perspective. So that just seems a little curious to me.
It's a good question. Thank you very much. It was a grassroots situation. So, and I've got a whole spiel that I do. And like I said, I want to stress, we still have lots and lots of things that we do with our other vendors and our other cohorts. So we are first and foremost a community of practice. So if you've got another platform, hey, that's absolutely fine. And we do have communities for that. The collective program was a request from about initially 12 schools at the conference. And at our conference in 2019, we had a interesting group stand up and say, hey, look, we've been dancing with many of our vendors for a while now, and we're not getting anything out of them. We're not getting any special programs, no special pricing, blah, blah, blah. What do we do? And it was after a state of the industry thing that I do every year at the conference. And I had thought about this for a long time. And I said, well, I think that the one major thing that we could do is we could select a common platform, build a community around it, and then basically wrap services and business partners around it and negotiate together in that common platform. So we're not trying to make anybody leave their platform. This was just a grassroots group of 12 that grew really quickly to 33 schools. And 33 CIOs looked at those, and they all, basically this group said, hey, look, if we're going to be long-term in this, we don't need to be using legacy software. We don't need to be using, and I'm just talking from the groups, the CIOs of the 33. We need to be looking forward. We don't need to be using 30-year-old software. And those legacy platforms, they do a fine job. They don't have many of the things that the new products do, but they get it done. They get the work done. But these institutions wanted to start afresh. And they said, we need to be looking just at cloud native products. And that's really all I can say on that, other than it was a grassroots effort, and we pulled it together. They wanted to start a program, Jackie, and that's what we did. And so, did I answer your question at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. That's a fair answer. I would just say, just because it's cloud native doesn't mean it's a great product and better than some of the others. But so I would love to see it compared on, from other perspectives as well. But that's something, I'm very, very interested in HESS. Don't get me wrong, and I probably
absolutely.
But that's one of the questions that I would have.
Absolutely, yeah. And what other perspectives would you like to hear from?
Well, I think that it's really, in making an ERP decision, I think it's more about the strategic fit with your organization. Right. And there are some things that certain platforms are doing that help facilitate that. It could be things like, the way that they enable reporting, or data analytics. It could be the way that they allow flexibility in academic terms. Right. Especially if you have multiple schools that maybe are on different terms. So there are some strategic attributes of ERPs that can be, make them Absolutely. A better fit for your organization. So I think those factors are, in my mind anyway, a lot more important than cloud native necessarily.
Sure. And yeah, I completely see your point there. The real process that we went through was to try and address the issues of legacy software. And most of the institutions that were a part of this, the CIOs and CFOs that were a part of this 33 school group that went through the process were upset because they did not feel like the legacy providers were innovating. They were not moving forward with, like you said, reporting and analytics and other things. I don't know what you use, Jackie, but that was the biggest complaint among the institutions that kind of grassroots started this process. And that's kind of the answer that I can give you. I've, as a CIO, I've implemented both Banner and Gensbar EX, which is now Gensbar 1. And I've been a consultant for many others. And I definitely see a big difference between what Oracle and Workday offer and what Ellucian and Gensbar offer. But I could get more into that, later on. You don't want
Yeah, I'd like to see it from that perspective. That would be good. Yeah, we're currently a combination of Workday and Colleague.
Excellent. Workday, yeah, absolutely.
Others? Keith, did I understand? Sorry, did I understand what you said when you were speaking about other groups? Is these are not, while these are the group of businesses, for lack of a better term, since I'm not CIO, if Kimberly College is currently working with ABC Company, and Kimberly's CIO, Kimberly College's CIO came to you and said, we really like what we're working with. Can you find out if there are other colleges similar to us working with ABC, and you might be able to put a collaborative together for them? Is that what you're saying?
We could, if there's enough.
If they preferred ABC Company.
Exactly. If there's enough interest within the HESS community to create a cohort like that, absolutely. The HESS, like I said, we've got ERP very active cohorts. It's not all about Oracle. We've got our largest cohort is really Ellucian and Ellucian Colleague and Ellucian Banner. Primarily, Ellucian Colleague is just edged out the Banner group just recently, but there's a cohort. If you're in an ERP, even we have some Power Campus folks that are in HESS that like the community, like to be able to find out what other institutions are doing, not only in ERP, it's also in what are you doing in buying PCs, what's out there, what kind of third-party products you're using. So absolutely, and wonderful question, and thank you for it. Everyone is, if there's enough interest in an area, in a specific area, like good example is instructional technology. There's been a lot of interest in starting an instructional technology group within HESS. And so we're working with our friends in our schools, and also ask you to invite instructional technologists into the fold and start a community of practice with those guys too. Did I answer your question, Kim? Kimberly? I put her to sleep, I think.
Sorry, for the first time in my life, I was actually on mute. But yeah, no, that is exactly where I was headed, was if there was something else that my college wanted to explore, that certainly I can't be the only one using ABC Company. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've had some off the wall ones. I have definitely. But if you're using something that is generally a good example, a number of our members are using D2L for their learning management software. So we do have a group of about 35 that are using D2L and used our contract for that. And they get together on a regular basis to talk about D2L use, the contract, how it's going, the instructional technology use, use in continuing education, those types of things. So. Other questions? I think I see a few others here. Can you give an example of savings a college has seen by joining once their contract ends? Yes, I can. And I won't go into the exact the exact stuff, but I do know that many of the folks in the Banner group have seen that going into the cloud native or cloud enabled solution and the SaaS solution, they've saved upwards of $100,000 in their implementation process and migration to the cloud. So, that's of course relative. Hey, Bill, I think you've got your microphone on, or did you have a question? If you got a question, Bill, I'm glad to answer. It's absolutely the case that, and also it's relative. Your institution may not see the same savings. Results may vary, I guess you could say. But most of our institutions have said that the CDWG contract has really helped them a lot. The Aleutian group has seen savings. The Gensbar group has primarily seen where their collaborations have helped. Gensbar is not one to really do a lot of discounting, but that community has really worked together to make some things happen. So, Bill, you had a question about, sorry if I missed this. How do we differentiate from NAP? Well, a lot. We're a community of practice specifically in technology, and we're a community of practice that answers each other's questions to some degree, like NAAP, but NAAP does not have contract agreements and discount offers definitely through NAAP. They actually NAAP is a little bit narrow in that unless your institution has a technology buyer, you're not going to see a whole lot of CIOs or CTOs at the NAAP conferences. Although the NAAP conferences are extremely helpful to folks who do buy. So nevertheless, the whole idea with HESS and with the coalition is to have contracts that are specifically detailed and created for private nonprofit colleges as negotiated. And also we try and approach the whole situation as, hey, look, we're not creating this on behalf of just one institution or a few institutions. We're really trying to get everybody together on this. And but I could go into that really deeply because, of course, I did work for ENI for a number of years, and now very happily working directly with private schools. That's my passion. So, but thank you, Bill. That was a good question. Any other questions broadly about HESS?
Broadly, real quick. So if Kimberly College was looking to, I know my contract is coming up and I'm going to pull up a random time. My contract is coming up to renew, change, whatever I'm going to do in, let's say, December 2023. How far in advance do I need to be talking to you or talking to my cohorts or talking to whomever with HESS and the coalition to make sure that I'm finding what's best for my college? And I know what you're trying to say is you're not saying that the contracts that you've negotiated are the best companies in the whole entire world. You're saying you brought a group of people who say this is who we want to do business with. But how soon, if I want to just explore what my other options are, should I be working on this? How far in advance?
I would probably, so it all depends on what your license, your license term is on your contract now. At least 2 years, I would say. A good example is St. Mary's College or St. Mary's University in Texas. Curtis is a close friend, and Curtis has been working on this for at least 2 years since we started the program. And he's done a fairly extensive ROI and cost analysis between what he would be doing in Aleutian Banner and moving to their SaaS product, and what this the Oracle Cloud product is. So you know, and we've got those resources that we can share within. We can also kind of do a cost comparison across the board, and you can get other feedback from the institutions that are moving now from Colleague and Genzibar and other Banner and other platforms. But I you know, I would say at least 2 years if you're really doing a thorough process. You might be able to do it in a year if you've got some really engaged and I would say motivated people on campus. That's a good question, Kim. That's that, and man, I've talked about that a lot with our members. You know, and the collective program was just built out of frustration. You know, other questions? Really good questions.
Yeah. Hey Keith, it's Bill Foglio.
Hey, Bill.
From University of Bridgeport. Did you go? I was sorry I was late. I had something else come up, but I joined as soon as I could.
No worries.
Did you go over what it takes to join, what the cost is, and all that stuff? Did you go over that?
It's really expensive this year. We've waived for the third year, we've waived our fee. Now we were not going to do that until we partnered with the coalition, and the coalition, you know, to basically bring new members in and to welcome them. We're basically waiving that fee this year. It's usually $499 a year to be a member. I know, don't laugh. It's small, but our board is toying with the idea of not reinstating that fee. There's not really a whole lot of need to have that fee for our members. And in addition to that, you know, we're doing some other things that are helping the organization to make some money in terms of revenue and put new programs in place and place that burden squarely on the backs of our business partners, which need to be doing that. So it's free this year. And you know, the collective answer is it may be free, maybe from now on. We just don't know.
Okay. And what's the did you go over how to join the organization? Yes.
You just go to www.hessconsortium.org, and there's a button there that says join now, and you can click it and you can join up this afternoon, and you'll be a member tonight. So you know,
can't get easier than that. And don't feel embarrassed about that $4.95 for a company that's watches every dollar. $4.95 is a lot to us. So
I know. Well, and the other aspect is, you know, associational groups, our associational partners are free, so they'll never be a charge to be an associational partner. But the institutions, we've toyed with the idea, and I don't know how you guys feel. We've wondered about should people have skin in the game, you know, to be a member, should you have to pay something, and if so, what is that skin in the game? And then, you know, some others on our board feel like that's silly. So I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know that our fee will ever be $4.99 if we reinstate it. It'll ever be $4.99 again, but maybe it'll be $1.99 or something like that, some small amount that really doesn't amount to much.
yeah.
But.
Well, as I said, nothing is small from our perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. There's already talk on the board of waiving the fee next year to welcome more coalition state association partners into. So more on that later.
Thank you, sir. And like if I come across something in IT, I'm in purchasing. So
yeah,
if I come across somebody in IT that wants to, buy some software or something, I just check with you guys and run it by you, show you what price we're paying now, and then you guys go to work on it.
Well, to some degree, what you do is so a good example is CDWG. Our aggregate program with CDWG automatically connects your contract up with your portal already. So that's pretty significant, and you can talk directly to your salesperson at CDWG, and they will actually, you just say, I want the HESS price on this, and they'll give it to you. I mean, they all
Okay.
know what HESS is. They
Okay,
definitely
so
know what HESS
you're all, anything to do with IT, hardware and software?
software. Well, through CDWG, the contract is full contract. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
But Keith,
but your
don't just,
specialty is software?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Keith, your specialty is software though.
No, it's mostly ERP and cloud software. For Microsoft and Adobe, we really don't get into that because those are state-based programs, and we don't really want any part of that. But SaaS and other software like that, and hardware, definitely HP, Lenovo, those types of things. Well, I'm actually talking with a group at Insight to see if we can get a coalition contract with them on hardware, and that's going to be an interesting thing in 2023, but more soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keith, don't discount that mentioning of that, because there are many schools who still, we work with colleges, that we work with every day to say, when you're dealing with a vendor, make sure you check, because if we have a contract already with them, you're going to get a significant savings. That's part of being a member of your association. And that's so important.
Well, and we're really very, very, very conscious of, we know that many of our state associations actually do have programs, and we don't want to step on their programs. And primarily what I've heard is most of those software pieces are based on Microsoft and Adobe. There's some others, but those are primarily the big ones. What we're mostly focusing on this year is trying to find a good hardware solution, and working on a marketplace for, HESS has been working on a marketplace for a couple of years now to try and bring aggregate pricing to hardware. So HP, Lenovo, Apple, Dell doesn't want to work with anybody, outside of one-offs, but others are willing to do that. So we're talking about that. And really the second thing is outside of the SaaS ERP realm and LMS realm is really network hardware. So I've got a meeting with Extreme Networks next week. Cisco is probably going to be next in 2023, but Extreme really wants to work with our small schools because they're a lot less expensive, and the overhead to run those Extreme systems is a lot less than what many of our institutions are seeing from Cisco these days. And I'm a Ciscoite, so anything that Cisco makes, I'm a fan. But I do like Extreme as an alternative. So, other questions?
Keith, this is Anita. We're getting short on time, but I know that there was a question a while back from Debbie Whitcomb about asking you to explain a little more about the options with Aleutian. So I don't know if you've answered that, or if she's still on, if she wants to clarify that question.
Yeah. Do you have any specifics on that?
No, you just mentioned something about discounts on Aleutian, and I just wanted to see exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, hang on one second. Let me bring that slide back up. I can't get the slide back up. Well, I can't get the slide back up, but so that program is relatively new. It just started in September. And what most of our institutions are seeing is some of the migration costs to, are you on-prem or are you in the cloud?
We are on-prem.
You're on-prem.
We have gotten pricing for the cloud.
Gotcha. As a HESS member, you can get special pricing on the migration to the cloud, the SaaS product, for both Colleague and for Banner. And Tracy Williams is really the point person on that. And that's the greatest savings, all outside of some special training pricing. That's the greatest savings that most of our institutions are seeing as a part of the HESS program. But I can put you in, if and when you become a HESS member, I can put you in contact with our both our cohort group leaders and also Tracy Williams at the same time at Aleutian. Tracy is she is a dedicated HESS Aleutian liaison there at Aleutian. So that's what she does. And so she'll answer your questions on that too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. We got 2 more minutes, and I'm willing to stay over if Anita's willing to stay over. So what other questions? Well, if there are no other questions, I want to tell you how much we would love to see your institution, or if you're a state association, we would love to see you as a member of HESS and join our community of CIOs, CTOs, CFOs, and association directors, and any of your staff. Once you have joined, you join on behalf of your institution. So you may be the point person, but our conferences, this last conference, our conference was completely open to all members of the consortium, so of your institution. So your institution could be a part of all webinars. When you connect, and in addition to that, any of your campus people, any of your staff can all be part of the online leadership community and ask questions out there and get answers from people who have gone through it before. I think the biggest plus and my passion here is creating this community of practice between CIOs and private schools. They're using a variety of ERP systems, whether it be Aleutian Colleague or Banner or Gensbar or Anthology or Workday or Oracle, and we basically take care of everyone, and our cohorts do that. So I'd love to have you join www.hessconsortium.org, and there's a join button right there, and you can join up tonight or today, and you'll be your institution, as long as you're a private nonprofit college or university or association, you'll be a member tonight. Anita, that's all I've got.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate everybody coming this afternoon. And again, that's www.hessconsortium.org. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Anita.
Bye, all.
Thanks, Keith.
Bye-bye, guys.